Hey guys, good day. I want to talk about patterns in Scripture. I want to hone in on Exodus 19. A lot of people now are reading this Exodus 19 and through 24, and they're looking at the events of the first covenant, God with the children of Israel, and how He married them, and they became His people, His wife. So I just want to talk about this and look at this as a pattern in Scripture and see how it compares with what a lot of the prophetic folks are saying and what other areas of scripture point to about the return of Jesus and how it's going to occur, the events, day by day events. I have a few videos where I talk about the day by day events. Essentially, I refer to it as the Great Rescue. I talk about various departures, how people were taken up, how the 144,000 leave in spirit, how they come back, how the Lord tests the people for over 40 days. And there's a 6-day period mixed into here, 2 3-day periods. So really, my timeline has 2 3-day periods and a 40-day period to come up with 47. So I don't know. This is speculation on my part. So I've been looking at Exodus 19 to see how that compares. Let's just show something. Let's just go through it right now. Okay. So if you read Exodus 13, the children of Israel arrive at Mount Sinai in the third month. Some translations give a day. It just says in the third month. I don't know whether it's on the first day of the month. I think it's in the middle of the month. But I just want to jump to Jubilees. Look what Jubilees tells us. Jubilees chapter 1 says that on the 16th day of the third month, God spoke to Moses, said, "Come up to me, to the mountain, and I will give you 2 tables of stone with the law." So we have a marker. So we know on the 16th day of the third month, that's when Moses went up to receive the stone tablets. But when you jump to Exodus 19, the first time he goes up, the very first time, first day he goes up, ignore that Sivan 13 just for now. He goes up and he doesn't get the tablets. Actually, he goes up multiple times. I think the fourth or fifth time he actually gets the tablets. So a lot of things go on before he gets the tablets. He goes up and down multiple times. Well, let's go through the scripture and I'll show you how I see patterns. Okay, so the very first time he went up, he got to the top of the mountain, and the first thing God says is I'm going to come back down and prepare the people for the third day. So God tells Moses he's coming back down. He's going to come and descend on Mount Sinai um, in a cloud with smoke. And he tells on the third day, and he tells Moses to prepare the people, consecrate them today, that's the first day, and tomorrow, that's the second day. Let them wash their garments and be ready for the third day. For God says, for the third day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in sight of all the people, so the people will all see him, just as it says in Isaiah 17:7. And when he comes down, God is telling him on the third day, the trumpets will sound a long blast, and the people should come out to meet him. Okay, so God is telling him all about the third day. So Moses went down, and on the morning, so one day, the first day goes up, the first day goes by, second day goes by, the people are prepared. The third day, the morning of the third day, there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mountain and a very long trumpet blast, and the camp trembled. Now I want to jump. Look at the words are used. Thunders, lightnings, cloud, and the Lord is going to descend from heaven to Mount Sinai. Now if you read 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16, it says, "For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a cry of a command and the voice of the archangel, with the sound of the trumpet of God." So look at the words being used here, and look what's written in Exodus. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God. And he stood at the foot of the mountain, and now Mount Sinai was wrapped in smoke because the Lord had descended on it in fire. Smoke went up like a kiln, and the whole mountain trembled greatly as the sound of the trumpet of God grew louder. I added of God because everybody knows this trumpet is the trumpet of God here. So the Lord came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain. And when he got down, he actually called Moses up again. This is the third time Moses goes up. So in the morning, Moses brought the people out, and Moses is called back up to the mountain for the third time on the third day. He speaks to him and he says, go down and tell the people this and tell the people that. You can read it. And then he says, go down and bring up Aaron the next time. I want to say Aaron is like a bride. Aaron is the brother of Moses. We learn from Song of Solomon that the bride in the Song of Solomon refers to her beloved as her brother, kind of strangely. But yet, her beloved is who she falls in love with and marries. And so I'm saying Aaron is like a bride. But then look what God says. But do not let the priests, that's the pastors, and the people, who I say are the foolish virgins, break through and come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down for the third time on the third day to the people and told them. And then God came down to the people and he spoke the 10 commandments. That's why this text is in red. He spoke it out loud. He spoke the 10 commandments to the people, to the children of Israel on the third day. So still on the third day, all the people saw thunder and flashes of lightning. Remember when Jesus said he would come? It would be like lightning from the east as far as to the west. So flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpet. Moses said to the people, do not fear. God has come to test you. So we have the theme of being tested for the people. In my other analysis, I talk about the fact that the foolish virgins and those who are unbelievers, after the main departure of the bride and the children, that the remaining left behind first group will be tested for a time of trial. And we see that same theme in here. God himself has come to test you. So continuing on down the verse. So basically what the people have seen God, you have seen for yourselves, and you have talked with him from heaven. So at this point, the people literally have seen Jesus, have seen God, and talked with him. And on my study over here, where I talk about this, I actually say when the Lord comes down, that he's going to have a one-on-one meeting with everybody on the earth at the same exact time. And he's going to speak with them, and they're going to be allowed to either accept him or reject him. But for those who have already accepted him, as I talk about in these videos, they will leave in the first main departure. I call it the second departure after the sixth day. So the same theme from my speculation is seen in Exodus 19. So if you continue on from Exodus 19 up to Exodus 23, basically God is giving on the same day, all on this third day, Moses is writing down all these laws, all these specific laws. It's 3 chapters of laws. You can go read these laws about what to do with when your child talks back to you, what to do with a foreigner when you come in the land, what to do with a wife, what to do with a husband. It just goes on. These are all these laws that God is giving Moses to tell the people. He wrote all those laws down and brought them down, still on the third day. So then let's start chapter 24. Then he said to Moses, come, still up on the third day, up to the Lord the fourth time. You bring Aaron the bride, Nadab and Abihu. Now, Nadab and Abihu are Aaron's sons. So the bride has children. That's the children. So we talked about how the bride and the children are going to go. And then the 70 elders. I'm going to say the 70 elders are like the wise virgins. And they're going to go and they're going to worship the Lord. This to me is like the third day of darkness on my timeline. So everybody's in their houses and they're worshiping the Lord. But Moses is the only one who can come near to the Lord. The others have to stay away. And of course the others and the foolish virgins, they shall not come up on the mountain. Then Moses came to the people, the foolish virgins, and all the words that they would rule, that they would use to rule them. And the people answered in one voice, all the words that the Lord has spoken we will do. So then the next day, the fourth day, the day after the third day, Moses arose, he arose early in the morning, and he did this. This is interesting. My timeline has this. He built an altar of 12 pillars, and according to the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm saying that this 12 pillars, 12 tribes of Israel is reminiscent of Revelation 7, where there's 12 groups of 12,000, and the 144,000 are considered witnesses, and they are sent out. And Moses sends out these young men to all the people, the foolish virgins of Israel, so that these witnesses could do burnt offerings and sacrifices. In the Romans 12, it says, submit your body as a living sacrifice. But in Matthew 10, we learn that Jesus himself sends out the 12 to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It's the same thing in Exodus 19. It's the same theme being used over and over again. And Moses, Jesus, send out the young men to the 12 tribes of Israel, the people of Israel, so that they could sacrifice and come to know who the Lord is. Then Moses takes the blood, throws it on the altar from the sacrifices, then takes the other half of the blood and throws it onto the people. Behold, he has made a blood covenant that the Lord has made with you in accordance with all these words. Okay, still on the third day. Now on the fourth day. So all this goes on. So the 12,000, the 144,000 get sent out to be witnesses, while Moses, Aaron, the children, and the wise virgins, they go up on the fourth day. This is the fifth time for Moses, and they see the God of Israel. And they're up in the equivalent of heaven. There under his feet was a pavement of pure sapphire. That sounds like Revelation. Chapter 5 or 6. Chapter 5, I think. And while Moses, Aaron, the bride, the children, and the wise virgins are there, they're having a dinner. They're having the wedding supper of the Lamb. They ate and drank. Then while up there, Moses is called to go up even higher and visit to get the tablets of stone. Now here is the tablets of stone mentioned. So this is the fifth time Moses went up. I think it's the fifth time. And here is when he's offered the tablets of stone. And this is straight from Jubilees 1, where it says this is the 16th day of the third month. So we know that the day this where they eat and drink must be the day of the wedding supper of the Lamb. And now for the first time we hear a reference to Joshua. Now I have a theory that Joshua, who is from the tribe of Ephraim, he isn't mentioned the whole time. He's been a mystery through all these first 5 days or 4 days. I say he's reminiscent of the 144,000. He continues up along with Moses to go like into the throne room, to go up into the mountain of God. They go up even higher, a different level where the mountain where God is. Then Moses tells Aaron and Hur that they're to remain a little bit behind and that they're going to oversee the people. I would say they're going to oversee the bride. Notice that Hur is from the tribe of Judah. He's only mentioned twice in Scripture. Aaron and Hur, I think, were the two that held Moses up when the Israelites were fighting the Amalekites. Remember, he was so tired he couldn't get up. Just ignore that phone ringing, guys. So here's Jubilees I put in here. And it shows you that it's the 16th day of the third month when he gets the 2 tablets of stone. So you can see the connection there. Then Moses went up higher on this mountain, and the cloud covered him, and Moses was up on Mount Sinai with Joshua, and he stayed in a cloud covered for 6 days. And on the 7th day, he was called out from the midst of the cloud of the darkness. Now, somehow, this fits somewhere in a timeline. It's not exactly my timeline here, but it's close. I have that the bride is called out of darkness on the 6th day, or the 7th day in my time. See, I have day 6, day 7, and the bride's called out. That's sort of what's being said here. And then 40 more days exist, actually 33 more days, and Moses is up on the mountain. And I would say the people down below are being tested for the remainder of those 7 plus 33 for 40 days, which does match my timeline. But look here in Leviticus. This is a different subject in Leviticus. You see the same reference to a woman who has a man-child or a child, how she's unclean for 7 days, and then she shall continue on for 33 more days in the blood of her purifying. So I made a reference that the foolish virgins, they have to be tested for 40 days. So there is this theme in Exodus 19 and in Leviticus that has a woman. I don't know if she represents what part of the bride or a bride at all, but she delivers and bears a child, if it's a male child, She's unclean for 7 days. That sort of seems like a group's got to hang around and be here for 6 or 7 days. And then another group's got to stay for another 33. It's that theme is still embedded in Exodus chapter 24. So with that, I'll put this document up. You can download it on Google. You can go through it and you can read it and study it and pray about it and see what patterns come for you. I don't have all the answers, but I was able to put a timeline here on this timeline for Moses. And what I come to is that this third day, if the 16th day is the day that he gets caught up to get the tablets, if you subtract 4, if you go back 4 days, you're on the 13th day of Sivan, is the day that Moses first goes up on the mountain, if you connect that up with Jubilees. One other note, we also learn in Jubilees 44, by golly, when Israel, that's Jacob, when he began his journey down to Egypt, when he had heard his son Joseph was still alive, he left his home on the new moon, the first day of the month in the 3rd month. But look here, he actually entered the land of Egypt on the 16th day of the 3rd month. Isn't that crazy? So Jacob goes down to Israel before Moses is even born, 400 and some years, and he goes down and enters Egypt on the 16th day of the 3rd month. Then Moses, 400 and some years later, on the 16th day of the 3rd month, he gets the tablets and is caught up for the fourth or 5th time. So I just want to note those connections. With that, guys, go ahead and download these, share these with your friends. Have a good evening, and God bless.